Look closely. This isn't science fiction. This is a glimpse of the future. A vast machine that inhales the sky, filtering the very air we breathe. A plane painting the stratosphere, creating a shield against the sun. We think of controlling the planet as the domain of gods or supervillains, a dangerous fantasy. But here is the uncomfortable truth. We are already doing it. We have been geoengineering the Earth for over a century. We just did it by accident. Climate change, mass extinctions, the acidification of our oceans, the vast deforestation. This is geoengineering. It is chaotic, unintentional, and catastrophic management. We are the planet's accidental managers, and we've been asleep at the wheel. Now we are waking up. We find ourselves in a speeding car heading for a cliff. The question is no longer, should we grab the wheel? The question is, what happens if we don't? This is the story of the most high-stakes choice humanity will ever make: to move from accidental chaos to deliberate control, or to die trying. The first battleground is the air itself, the thin, vital blanket that holds all life. Our challenge is twofold. We have too much heat and too much carbon. The plans to fix this are audacious. They fall into two main categories. The first is the planetary sunscreen. It's called solar radiation management, or SRM. It doesn't fix the root cause, but it buys us time by cooling the Earth. The most famous and infamous idea is stratospheric aerosol injection. In 1991, Mount Pinatubo erupted, spewing 20 million tons of sulfur dioxide into the stratosphere. The result? Global temperatures dropped by ½ degree Celsius for nearly 2 years. The plan is to mimic this. A fleet of automated ships would continuously spray tiny reflective particles like sulfur dioxide or calcium carbonate into the upper atmosphere, creating a planetary haze that reflects 1 or 2% of sunlight. But if spraying our own atmosphere feels too risky, there is another option: controlling the sun itself. This is the space sunshade. The idea is to build a colossal shield, potentially millions of square kilometers wide, and place it at a special point in space called L1, where the gravity of the Earth and the sun balance out. From this vantage point, it would permanently block a tiny, precise fraction of sunlight, giving Earth a cosmic dial to turn down the heat. Scientists at MIT have even proposed making it out of space bubbles manufactured in orbit. But all these sunscreen methods share a terrifying risk. It's called the termination shock. If we ever stopped, due to war, economic collapse, or a simple political disagreement, the cooling effect would vanish in months. All that shielded warming would hit the planet at once, creating a climate catastrophe so rapid no ecosystem could possibly adapt. It's a global anesthetic, and the day we stop administering it, the patient goes into shock. This is why many scientists argue we must focus on the second strategy, the planetary cleanup. Not just blocking the heat, but removing the carbon itself.
This is direct air capture, or DAC. These are, quite literally, factories that scrub CO2 from the open air. The captured carbon can then be buried deep underground, effectively turning it back into rock. It's slow, it's expensive, but it's a permanent solution. Or we could accelerate a natural process that has regulated Earth's climate for millennia. It's called enhanced weathering. When rain falls on certain rocks, like basalt or olivine, a chemical reaction slowly pulls CO2 from the air. The plan? Mine and pulverize billions of tons of these rocks and spread the dust across the world's farmlands. As the particles weather, they would absorb staggering amounts of carbon, while also enriching the soil. It's Earth's own thermostat, but we'd be turning the dial to maximum. Our control must extend to the 70% of our planet covered in water. Our oceans and ice caps are the planet's circulatory system, and right now they are in crisis. This is the Thwaites Glacier. It's been called the Doomsday Glacier. It's the size of Great Britain, and it's collapsing. Warm ocean water is seeping underneath, melting it from below. If it goes, it could trigger a sea level rise of up to 10 feet, wiping out coastal cities worldwide. Doing nothing is not an option. So engineers have proposed one of the largest construction projects in human history. The plan is to build a 100-kilometer-long underwater curtain anchored to the seabed. This barrier would physically block the warm currents from ever reaching the glacier's vulnerable underbelly, giving it a chance to stabilize.
At the other pole, in the Arctic, the problem is sea ice. As the white ice vanishes, the dark ocean below absorbs more heat, creating a feedback loop that accelerates all warming. One proposal involves deploying thousands of wind-powered pumps. During the frigid winter, these pumps would draw up colder water from the depths and spray it onto the surface. This water would freeze almost instantly, rapidly thickening the ice sheet, one layer at a time. But the ocean itself is also a target. It has absorbed over 90% of our excess heat and a third of our CO2, and it is becoming acidic. This is ocean fertilization. The idea is to seed barren parts of the ocean with iron dust. Iron is a key nutrient, and adding it triggers massive blooms of phytoplankton, microscopic plants. These blooms would suck up CO2 through photosynthesis. When they die, they sink to the deep ocean floor, taking that carbon with them, sequestering it for centuries. But the risks are profound. We could accidentally engineer a different kind of catastrophe, a vast, suffocating dead zone, as the decaying plankton consumes all the oxygen, killing everything else in the food chain. We would be trading one problem for another. We are exploring the very limits of human ambition, facing choices that will define the next 1,000 years. If you believe these are the conversations we need to be having, subscribe to our channel. We are dedicated to exploring the complex future we are building together. Now this brings us to the most intimate form of control, managing life itself, engineering the biosphere. This is not just a scientific curiosity. This is a climate technology. Scientists are working today to bring back the woolly mammoth, or at least
a hybrid Asian elephant genetically engineered to survive the cold. The reason for bringing back the mammoth, the Arctic permafrost. This frozen ground holds twice as much carbon as the entire atmosphere. As it thaws, it's releasing that carbon as methane, a potent greenhouse gas. Mammoths, they argue, were ecosystem engineers. By returning them, they would trample the insulating snow, allowing the winter cold to penetrate deeper. They would knock down shrubs, restoring the reflective grasslands. They could be the key to keeping the permafrost frozen. If we can edit the past, we can certainly edit the present. Using technologies like CRISPR, scientists are designing plants that grow 40% larger, with deeper roots. The goal is to turn our croplands into a carbon sequestration network, pulling CO2 from the air and locking it deep in the soil. They are programming microbes to eat plastic pollution or even to clean up oil spills. This is synthetic biology, reprogramming the code of life to serve as a planetary maintenance crew. We are on the verge of becoming the architects of life itself. But even this pales in comparison to the final frontier of control, the very crust of the Earth. For all of history, we have been at the mercy of its violent geology, earthquakes, tsunamis, and the most destructive force of all, supervolcanoes. There are 20 supervolcanoes on Earth, sleeping giants. An eruption from just one, like Yellowstone, would be an extinction-level event, plunging the world into a volcanic winter and potentially claiming 1 billion lives. We treat it like an asteroid, an unavoidable existential threat. But what if it isn't? A team at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory proposed a plan, not to kill the beast, but to tame it. The plan is to drill several kilometers down, near the edge of the magma chamber, but not into it. Cold water is then pumped down. As it nears the chamber, it becomes supercritical, heated to over 350 degrees Celsius. This superheated water is then pumped back up. This creates an enormous, continuous source of clean geothermal energy. But more importantly, over thousands of years, it slowly, gently, and safely steals the heat from the magma chamber. It diffuses the bomb while simultaneously powering our civilization. It is the ultimate act of planetary control, topping the very forces that could destroy us and turning them into our salvation. A space shield, artificial volcanoes, revived mammoths, diffused supervolcanoes. We have the blueprints to become masters of our planet. But the greatest risk isn't technical. It's not that the technology will fail. The greatest risk is that it will succeed. Because then we have to ask, who gets to hold the thermostat? Who decides the planet's temperature? What happens when China's attempt to brighten clouds over its farmland causes a drought that starves India? What happens when the US wants a cooler summer, but Russia needs a warmer one to grow its crops? The first wars of the future may not be fought over land or oil. They may be fought over the sky, over the very climate of the Earth. This is the impossible choice we face, and we want to know what you think. Of all these technologies, which one do you find the most promising, and which one scares you the most? Let us know in the comments below. We are in that speeding car. For a century, our accidental management has been flooring the accelerator. Doing nothing is a choice.
It is the choice to let the car crash. It is the guarantee of catastrophe. Grabbing the wheel, embracing deliberate, controlled geoengineering is terrifying. It's risky. We might miscalculate. We might steer us off a different cliff. But it is the only other choice we have. The future of Earth will not be a pristine, wild, natural world. We passed that point long ago. The future of Earth is a managed planet. The only question left is whether it will be a planet managed by chaos and disaster or by intention and design. The choice is ours.